We might just run through these while they're on the line. We're up to the B races. So Lucy Hinksman from the ACT goes in hip number 1. Ali Thompson from UTS in hip number 2. Lily Harding Deleuze runs in hip number 3 for Run Crew. Thaisa Buchanan of Athletics Wollongong goes in position 4. Sarah Pickering of Macquarie Hunter comes down from Newey in number 5. Erin Blundell of Sydney University Famous Club runs in position number 6. Lucy Alexander of Sutherland in hip number 7. Sarah Baker of UTS Norths runs in position number 8. And Amy Bennett rounds out the field of 9 for the Sutherland Districts Club in the women's 800 metre B race. So very handy field. Most of these are in the 2:11 to 2:13 range, all with PBs within a couple of seconds of each other. So expect this to be very close. It's actually Lucy Hinksman of the ACT who's taken off from the inside in that green crop top you can see in hip number 1. And she's going to battle up on the inside to put herself in a position of prominence. Thaisa Buchanan for Athletics Wollongong going pretty well on the inside as well. And it's a Sutherland athlete of Amy Bennett just coming around the outside, and she'll probably lead them as they go through the 200, about 31 seconds or so. So not mucking around at all here. Pretty quick first 200. Lucy Alexander of Sutherland putting herself up into a position of prominence as well on the outside, wearing hip number 7 you can see there, and Hinksman, the early leader from the ACT in the green vest, just slipping back a little as they come through the 300 in about 50 seconds or so, coming down the straight for the first time. Little gap back then to the Run Crew athlete Lily Harding Deleuze. So they come up to the bell now and go through in about 60 seconds flat. So it's the Sutherland athlete Amy Bennett, who's Lucy Alexander, who's off the front of this field. That is Bennett, And then sitting back behind them is Thaisa Buchanan of Athletics Wollongong. But Bennett has actually opened up the lead here as they head up the back straight. The second time now, a move starts to come from Sarah Pickering of Macquarie Hunter. And she's working her way up the back straight very strongly. Starting to go after Bennett. Sutherland, and you can see on the screen that gap starting to close and close and close. The ACT's Hinksman is fighting back in third, but not managed to closing the gap on the leading two. The only question here is, can Pickering run past Bennett, who's done most of the leading at the moment? She's looking very strong. And Sarah Pickering of Macquarie Hunter rounds up into the straight and also rounds up Amy Bennett, who's led most of the way for Sutherland. She comes into the straight, 2 minutes flat on the clock. Erin Blundell trying to work home hard into third on the outside. But Sarah Pickering, too good for them in the women's B race, takes it out in about 2:09 from the early leader Bennett, and then a good three-way battle for third between Buchanan, the early leader from the ACT, Hinksman, and Erin Blundell of Sydney University. As Lily Harding Deleuze rounds out the field. Pretty handy racing there, Jimmy, into the women's B.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Pickering was very happy with that run. And yeah, 2:09.18 for her. So I fancy that's her first time under 2:10, a really big barrier for some of our top female runners in New South Wales. And Amy Bennett also got under that mark, I believe, for the first time as well, 2:09.82. Great racing there for the women's B race.
Yeah, came in with a seat time about 2:11, so pretty handy there. And good to see Sarah Pickering picking up the win in the women's B. These B races so often at this meet we see running their way into A races in subsequent years. We've had some brilliant B miles here over the years as well in particular.